Hi friends!
Hello viewers, thank you for clicking. In this video I shall explain how to best use your power station, your solar power. So based on our experience, I have figured that the best use is to have multiple units and keep them in the same state throughout the day. For example, in our case we have two units. We have the older unit and then a newer unit. One unit is constantly in a state of charge and the other unit is in a state of discharge. The problem we solve this way is that we reduce the number of cycles we waste during the day. So at most we're gonna waste one cycle. Since one battery is in a state of charging,
thank you very much.
It doesn't matter how much charge it gets, it always remains in the state of charge. So the solar coming in could vary from 10 watts to up to 350 watts, but it's always in the state of charge. It will never discharge. On the other hand, our discharging unit, that's all it does. It just discharges from the starting point of say 100% all the way down to zero. We'll let it discharge and then we will swap the units. The one that was discharging now gets to charge for the rest of the day, and the one that was charging now is starting to discharge. In that case we only lose one cycle per day per power station. We know that Bluetti advertises these stations are good for I think 3,800 cycles before they degrade down to 80% of their capacity. Both of my units have degraded below 80% because I was using one unit at a time, and throughout the day it was cycling between charging and discharging depending on how we were using, how much power we were using, how many batteries and phones we were charging, and how much sun we were getting. If it was cloudy, it was coming in and out of the shade. So every time the input is less than the output, it's in a state of charge, and the opposite holds true. If the output is higher than the total input, then it goes into a state of discharge, and that right there you lost the cycle. And in a day this way you can possibly lose over 100 to 150 cycles depending on how many devices you use to charge with and on the weather. So primarily this video is for people who use solar to charge the power stations. If you don't use solar and you just charge it at home, you're only going to charge it once and then discharge it for the rest of the day. But if you're using it in a van or some other application where you have to use solar to charge it, then you have to take into account the number of cycles you're flipping throughout this process. So this is all you need to know on how to best use your Bluetti in a van or a similar application. Furthermore, I will explain how I charge and discharge my units and how I have it set up further in the video. So for our setup, we have two power stations. We have one power station which is currently discharging only, and another power station which is currently charging only. In addition, we have two batteries which I also use as a power station. I discovered that these batteries are good enough to use as a power station. They provide you with two USB outputs, one USB-C and a regular USB, and also they provide you with a 12-volt output, which is good enough to power the fridge, the fans, and also charge other batteries. Charging the power stations, these are the two power stations, the top one and the bottom one, and this is the cable that comes from the solar panels on the van. So I just connect one or the other, depending on which one I need to charge. In this case, I'm charging the bottom one, and the top one is not charged. The other way to charge the power station is through this AC adapter. I power this from the van. This is the regular AC adapter that comes with the Bluetti. I power this when the van is running, and it's as if it is at home. In our case, I can use this AC adapter through the power inverter I have installed in the van. So when the van is running, the inverter provides power to this AC unit. This AC adapter, once plugged in, it can charge any of the power stations or the batteries. To charge the battery, it's possible through solar if you use one of these enhancers, DC charging enhancer from Bluetti, which I connect the solar cable. So directly from our solar, we can connect it here through the enhancer and then charge here the battery. Discharging the power station, you can do it from the 25 amp output. Just connect it through the cable into your power grid for the van. This leads to the fuse box. So everything out of the fuse box will be powered. Also on the power station, you can use the 12 volt, which goes into the 12 volt port right here. The other option for the battery is also the 12 volt here. So you can discharge the battery out of this 12 volt. When you're switching from one unit to another, you just have to make sure you're connecting the correct output into the input of the fuse box or the grid for the van. So in conclusion, you will need a minimum of 2 units. You have to dedicate each unit to either charging or discharging until it goes full or until you run out of power, in which case you will flip them. Because you're reducing the number of cycles to the minimum, your battery should last a lot longer and give you more power overall. The discharging station is discharging 600 watts currently on the AC load. Wow, the charging station is pulling in about 70 watts from the sun. While this is happening, the discharging station remains in its state of discharge, so it keeps the cycle, and the charging station remains in its state of charge, so it also stays in the same cycle. It's now about 9 in the morning, and our discharging station is discharging about 48 watts on the AC port, while our charging station is charging with about 80 to 90 watts. So at this point, if we only had one, the state
Thanks for watching.
would have changed from discharging to charging.